What is up, party people? Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing alright. Um, Hope everyone's weekends were good. Hopefully, we got all that energy out. Got to go party, got to go hang out, kick it back with some friends. Um, yeah, overall, I hope everyone's doing okay. Uh, Hope to the very few of you. Hope you got something productive done today. Went to the gym, worked out, ate right, just something. Made your bed in the morning, drank some water, took some vitamins, something productive for the day. Um, Very tired, as you can see. I'm not gonna lie. There's not a whole lot of energy running through me right now. I am running off of 15 minutes of sleep. Not even 15 minutes for the past like 2 days. Mainly because last night I was staying up late working on my brand and thinking of video ideas, trying to create video ideas. I have a whole list on my phone right here of different topics that I eventually want to make a video about. Um, but, which is ironic because sleep was literally going to be a part of one of the topics I was going to talk about and how important like sleep is. But now it's gonna seem kind of hypocritical if I make that video, so I'm gonna go back and adjust it in my notes. But yeah, today's topic, what I want to kind of talk about is the pure difference between, or rather, let me reword it. The pure value in being silent when you're working on progression, or rather, how important silence is when you are on the grind, when you are dialed in, when you are locked in on a new life, a new you, a goal. How important it is to stay silent rather than be all loud and obnoxious and talking about it. What some people fail to realize is when you are working towards a goal, let's just say it's let's just say you want to do 100 push-ups a day, 100 squats a day, like little Saitama workout. Let's just say you want to do that. If you do nothing but go around parading it, talking about it, telling everybody that you're doing all these push-ups and squats, you are demeaning the value in your own subconscious of why you're doing it. If all you do is go around and parade and tell everybody about the things you're working on, the things you're working on behind the scenes, things you're trying to come up with, that diminishes the value in your subconscious about why you're doing it and how important it actually is. If anything, you could gradually be deteriorating the motivation you have in doing it. Let me put it to you this way, right? If I wanted to if I wanted to start, let's just say I wasn't starting a brand, and let's just say I wanted to start a clothing brand. If all I did was go around and parade and talk about it, tell everybody at my job, tell all my friends, tell my entire family, hey, I'm starting a brand. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be working on my clothing brand soon. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing this, and this. That's going to take away the silent value that I'm giving to the subject by parading and talking about it. Because then not only are you going to diminish the value of what it is that you're working for, you're doing, you're including other people in what you're doing. And it's not a valuable inclusion. You're not including these people and they're not providing good value towards you. What's going to happen is I go around parading talking about my brand. A week, a month goes by, and I have like 9 different people coming up to me or texting me, Hey, how's that brand going? Hey, man, when are you going to start it? Let me see this, let me see that. Or when you say, if I were to tell them, yeah, I'm gonna do a drop, or I'm gonna start coming out with clothing in 2 months. What if around that time I've been backed up? I can't come out or come up with the drop. I know I'm gonna have a bunch of people in my business. Hey man, what happened to that drop? What happened? You said you were gonna do this, but you never did it. The problem and the point that I'm trying to make with that example is when you go around parading, talking about things that you're going to do, goals that you want to achieve, projects that you're going to work on, not only are you including possible deterioration of your motivation for what you're doing, you're pretty much you're being a showboat. You're putting on a showboat. You are, in a sense, you're taking away the special value, the special flame that you had, the drive that you had to do said subject or said motivation. You are taking away all that value and all that excitement for it because you're talking about it. You're putting it out there. Be silent. You do not need to go about talking about your business. You need to almost be in a one-on-one call with yourself. Now, if it's a small circle of people, if it's 1 to 2 people, and they're coming to you because they're curious about it, that's different. You're not parading it at that point. You have people that are interested in what you're doing. But if it's like whole classroom, 70 different friends on Snapchat, your family reunions, your whole family, dude, that value's going out the door and you're gonna crash and burn. You know the saying, if you ride like lightning, you'll crash like thunder? That's what's gonna happen to your motivation and your drive. You're taking away the value, you're taking away the excitement that you have for it, and you're placing it out into the world, and it's going to come back and bite you. There's so many more benefits about being silent and to yourself when you are grinding, when you are working on these projects, when you're working on yourself. Not only when you're doing these things, then when you're being silent, you're being to yourself, you're not being loud and obnoxious and talking about it. You're going to learn a lot about yourself when you are keeping everything to yourself. When you are in your room, when you know you yourself, when you know that every day when you get off of school, you come home, eat a snack, you're in that room for the rest of your day, working on whatever it is. You go to the gym, you work out when you get out. If you know these things that you're doing, you are not only going to prove to yourself that you can achieve something without having to brag about it. There's a special little place for people that like attention, or people that may find a pleasure in people hyping them up. Think about it. If you stay silent and you grind and you work for 3 to 6 months at a time, longer than that, you disappear, you go off grid. That's so much development, and that's so much progress that you are making with yourself. And not only that, when you eventually decide to start reaching back out, and when people start asking questions, it's almost like you will be a new person. There's so much more of a grab factor at you at that point. There's so much more of a hook Like literally when you're writing a book, you now are almost a walking hook factor. Because you disappeared, because you worked on yourself in silence, because you stuck to yourself and you worked behind the scenes without showboating and parading it, you now have a beautiful, mysterious factor towards you that others will find appealing, that other people will find very interesting. And to those of you that may not care about the whole interesting factor that would get added on to that, get added on to you as a person, added to your little personal portfolio, you get to go through the journey of working on yourself in silence. All this money, all your failures, even when you fail or when you succeed, that's sticking to mano y mano, that's sticking to you. So if you fail damn near every day that you're working on whatever it is, and if you fail every single day of the year, nobody's gonna know about those failures. It's only you. When you succeed, nobody's gonna know about those successes. It's only you. But there's a special value in that. There's a special self-certainty about knowing that you are succeeding or that you're failing, but nobody else is aware of it. And I hate to put it to some of you very bluntly, over 99% of the time, no one would care anyway if you were to go about showboating it. If you were to go talk about these goals, nobody would care. This ties back to one of the other subjects of one of the other videos I talked about. Everybody has their own thing going on. So when you're working on your brand, on whatever it is, when you go about talking about it, you're no longer special. Your dream, your goal, it's not special anymore. You're speaking it into the world. You're letting everybody know your business. To you, it may still seem special, but that beautiful silent factor, that it was built in silence and it was built with just you lose that. Remember what I said. At the end of the day, when it comes to your successes, to your failures, to your progress, no matter who you think truly cares, no matter who's in your life, you can only ever 100% rely on yourself. And that's not a negative thing. That's not a bad thing. When you work in silence, when you don't include other people in what you got going on, you have this 100% knowledge, you have this 100% guarantee that no matter what happens, it's you and you only. If you mess up, it's because of you, but you get to keep that to yourself. When you start including all these other people in your business, that certainty, that confidence that you have that it was just you since the beginning and that you don't have to give credit to anybody else, you lose that. Because now that credit, that special privilege that you get or that you had, you now get to distribute amongst all the people that you went around talking to about it. There's no surprise. There's nothing special about you when you do it at that point. But when you stay silent, lock yourself in your room, you stay off of social media for a bit, you don't go out with the buddies for a while, you learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about what you can do. There's so much beauty in silence that this video would be an hour long. Just about every single subject. about every single thing that makes progress in silence so beautiful. And remember, there is a difference between success in silence and success in volume and in abundance, in loudness. You want to be able to tell yourself that you did it by yourself. That all the failures, all the successes, they were because of you. So when you get that final result, when you get that final piece of work, all your rough drafts have been sifted through, you now have that final picture. You can stand proud knowing that you got there because of all the silent nights, of all the days of being by yourself, of all the hangouts you skipped out on, of all the family events you decided to stay home from. All of that work led up to that moment of that special project that you completed being done. And sure, you can go out parading and talking about it. That's fine. You can go parade and talk about all these things that you have planned and all these moves you're gonna make, but then what happens when someone makes that move before you do? What happens when somebody takes that value from you and decides that they're gonna do exactly what you're doing? What's special about it anymore? Where's the value? Oh, well, I love it. I'm excited for it. If you really loved it and you were super excited for it, you would have worked on it instead of going out parading and talking about it. Because then at that point, if you fail, your failures, your lates, your absences, other people are going to bring that towards you. They're going to bring that up to you. What do you think that's going to do to this up here? When you're dialed in trying to work on this and that, these 5 different things at once, and you have people from the outside that have not put any effort into what, they don't know anything about what you've been doing, about all the sacrifices you've had to make. You have people coming in from the outside barking at you saying that you said you were going to do this but you never did it. That's going to mess up here. Especially if it's a loved one or somebody that whose opinions you really care about, they really impact you. That's going to take an effect, that's going to have a hold on you. But when you stay silent and you work on yourself, on these projects, on these goals, not only do you find out so much about yourself, what you can do, your potential, what you can't do, your weaknesses, your strengths, you build this beautiful realization web of you build this like beautiful web of moments that you get to look back on, and you can say with confidence that I remember, man, when on these Friday nights or on these sometimes on these late Sundays when I'd stay up doing this and this, I'd put my effort into, I'd split up all my eggs in the different baskets. I tried starting this brand, but then it failed, and I tried to do this drop, but it just didn't work out. That's all going to add to this web of future memories that you will be able to look back on. It's all going to build up and expand and grow. And the more you fail and the more you succeed in the silence, the more you're going to learn about all of it. About the progress it took to get there. About the story behind it. About your reasoning behind it. There's a very majestic, soft, careful, beautiful attribute about succeeding in silence. And it's something that you really need to learn to do. You talk too much. You go about talking, all you ever do is tell people about what you're going to do, and then you never do it. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the person that constantly says, I'm going to do this day, and then I'm going to get this job, and I'm going to make all this money, and I'm going to get this physique, and I'm going to do this with my hair, and I'm going to put on 60 pounds of muscle, blah, blah, blah. And then when the time comes for you to show up to prove, nothing's there. And you're not only having to provide that proof for yourself, you're now having to provide it for other people because you decided to go out and talk about it. Nothing's worse than a person that talks about their goals, talks about their aspirations, their dreams, and never going through with it. Nothing's worse. And I'm not talking about as in like you're disgusting or you're terrible. Mentally, heartfelt wise, there is nothing worse than knowing that you are the guy that said you were going to do these big events, these big ideas, these big things, and you never went through with it. Because now your word is diminished. You said you were going to do this, but you never did it. That takes value away from your word and your promise. You want to be the guy, doesn't talk about it, does it in silence, and appears with it. And this isn't one of those things where I'm telling you to disappear for 9 months, come back a completely different person. You can talk about some of the things you're doing, but for the most part, be quiet. Don't be swift to speak. Be swift to listen. Be easy to listen. Don't be swift to speak. And you'll learn a lot. You'll see what I'm talking about. When you turn into the person that listens rather than the person that's talking all the time, you unlock a lot. You learn a lot too. I promise. I know this video was a little late. It's 2:20 in the morning. I just couldn't really sleep. I had some Coke Zero earlier. A little bit of caffeine in my system. But don't know if I'm gonna come. I was making this video so late because I wanted to come out with something today, because I'm not sure if I'm going to have something put out for Monday. Today technically is Monday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have something put out today. If I don't have something put out today, I will have something put out Tuesday and Wednesday. So back to back. 2 different subjects, completely 2 different talks. They will probably be, one of them might be a 10-minute video. The other one, it's a broad subject. It's probably the biggest subject that I'm going to talk about. That is a good 25 to 30-minute video. And I'm already working on that video as well. I'm already writing kind of how I want it to be. So I'm very excited for that. But for the most part, get a snack, get some drinks, and go to sleep. It's 2:22 in the morning for me. I don't know what it is for anybody, for future me, or for anybody that might ever watch these, but go to sleep. Get off my laptop, bro. You're doom scrolling. Go to sleep. Loser, bro. I'll see y'all next one.